As the world around you begins to soften, as the shadows in your room stretch and settle, we turn our gaze upward. Beyond the ceiling, beyond the roof, and into the vast, open expanse that we call the sky. We often think of the air as nothing, a void between us and the stars. But the document we are exploring tonight tells a different story. It tells us that we are living at the bottom of a deep, invisible ocean. An ocean of gas, of vapor, and of ancient energy that we call the atmosphere. Tonight, we are going to dive into this ocean, but instead of sinking, we are going to float. We are going to drift upward through the layers of the air, feeling the pressure lift, and the silence deepen. In the original text, we learn about the troposphere. This is the lowest layer of our atmosphere, the warm, thick blanket that touches the mountaintops and the surface of the sea. It is only about 7 to 10 miles high, a thin skin on the scale of the Earth, yet it contains almost all the weather we have ever known. It holds the clouds you watched as a child, the rain that cooled your skin last summer, and the very breath you are taking right now. Visualize this layer as a sanctuary. It is held close to the Earth by gravity, hugged tightly to the planet's curves. Keeping us warm, keeping us safe, and providing the stage for the great ballet of the weather. The troposphere is where the dance begins. As you lie there, imagine the air around you not as empty space, but as a fluid. Just like the water in a calm pool, the air has weight. It has texture. It presses gently against your skin with a comforting consistency. This is what scientists call atmospheric pressure. At this moment, miles and miles of air are stacked above you, reaching up toward the edge of space. But you do not feel the weight as a burden. Instead, feel it as a support. You are being cradled by the atmosphere. It is a medium that carries sound, that carries scent, and that carries the heat of the sun to your window. You are a part of this ocean, moving with its slow, rhythmic tides. Our study explains that the atmosphere is a complex mixture, mostly nitrogen, then oxygen, and a tiny, magical fraction of argon and carbon dioxide. But the most important ingredient for our journey tonight is water vapor. Even when the sky looks perfectly clear, it is filled with invisible rivers of moisture. These are the ghosts of clouds yet to be born. They are floating around you, silent and unseen, waiting for the right moment to cool and transform. This is the secret of the weather. It is a constant state of transformation. Nothing is ever static. The air is always breathing, always shifting, always seeking a perfect balance that it can never quite reach. And in that seeking, there is a profound beauty. Imagine you are rising slowly through this troposphere. As you ascend, the air becomes cooler. The frantic energy of the surface, the noise of traffic, the hum of machines, fades away. You are entering a realm of pure physics and quiet grace. You look down and see the clouds from above. White, fluffy islands in a sea of blue. This is the weather layer. Above this, the air becomes still and dry, but here, in the troposphere, everything is alive. The molecules are dancing, colliding, transferring the warmth of the earth into the heights of the sky. It is a restless, beautiful, and life-giving motion. As we drift, think about the word atmosphere. In Greek, it means vapor sphere. We are living inside a giant, swirling bubble of gas that protects us from the harsh vacuum of the universe. It scatters the sunlight to give us the blue of the morning and the gold of the evening. It acts as a shield against the stones of the cosmos. Without this invisible ocean, there would be no wind to whisper through the trees, no rain to feed the soil, no silence to embrace the night. The atmosphere is the Earth's way of breathing. And as you follow its lead, your own breath becomes slower, deeper, and more synchronized with the world above you. Feel the temperature of the air in your room. Is it cool? Is it warm? This temperature is a message from the sun, processed by the atmosphere just for you. The molecules are vibrating at a frequency that feels like comfort. In the chapters to come, we will see how the sun acts as the great conductor of this orchestra, but for now, just appreciate the medium itself. The air is your constant companion. It is the first thing you touched when you were born, and it is the bridge between you and the furthest reaches of the globe. You are never alone in the atmosphere. Now, as we prepare to move higher, to look at the great conductor of the skies, let yourself sink deeper into your bed. The pressure of the day is evaporating. The density of your worries is thinning out, just like the air at the top of a mountain. You are becoming lighter. You are becoming part of the troposphere. A traveler in the invisible ocean. There is no need to hold on to the earth. The atmosphere has you. It is holding you in its wide, transparent arms. In the next chapter, we will look at the sun. The golden source that sets this entire ocean in motion. But for this moment, stay here in the cool, blue depths. Listen to the silence of the air. The first movement of the ballet has begun. The stage is set. The lights are dim. And the sky is waiting for you to dream. Breathe in the weight of the air. Breathe out the weight of the world. The ocean is deep. The blanket is warm. The atmosphere is still. And you are floating, floating into the heart of the sky. The stage is set, the invisible ocean of the atmosphere is waiting, and now, we look toward the grand conductor of the celestial orchestra. 93 million miles away, a star is burning. It is a vast, ancient engine of light and heat, the sun. In the document we are exploring, we find that without this distant fire, our world would be a frozen, silent marble. The weather is not just something that happens, it is a direct response to the energy of the sun. Think of the sun as the master puppeteer. It pulls the strings of the wind, it lifts the curtain of the clouds, and it stirs the waters of the earth to life. Tonight, as you feel the warmth of your blanket, imagine that energy crossing the cold vacuum of space just to reach our blue sanctuary. The sun is the heartbeat of the sky. When the sunlight hits our planet, it doesn't arrive equally everywhere. Because the Earth is a sphere, the sun's rays hit the equator with a focused intensity, like a bright, warm spotlight. But as we move toward the poles, the light hits at an angle, spreading out, becoming softer and cooler. This simple fact, this uneven heating, is the secret engine of everything we call weather. The atmosphere is constantly trying to fix this imbalance. It is trying to move the warmth of the tropics toward the cold of the Arctic. It is a restless, global effort to find equilibrium. Every breeze you have ever felt, every storm that has ever rolled across the plains, is just the atmosphere trying to share the sun's gift. The weather is the Earth's way of equalizing itself. Visualize the sunlight as it enters our atmosphere. It is not just one thing, it is a spectrum of energy. Some of it is reflected back into space by the white tops of the clouds, acting like a mirror to the stars. Some of it is absorbed by the dark oceans and the green forests. The Earth drinks in this light, and then, it breathes it back out as warmth. This is the infrared energy, the gentle heat that rises from the soil after a long summer afternoon. As you lie in the dark, know that the earth beneath you is still radiating that warmth. It is a slow, steady release. A memory of the day kept safe for the night. You are resting on a planet that is slowly exhaling the sun. Our study explains that this heat is what makes the air move. When the sun warms a patch of land, the air above it becomes excited. The molecules start to move faster, they spread apart, they become lighter than the cool air around them. And just like a bubble of air in a glass of water, that warm air begins to rise. This is the birth of convection. It is an invisible elevator, carrying the warmth of the ground into the heights of the troposphere. Imagine these warm columns of air rising all over the world, silent and invisible, lifting the potential for clouds and rain into the sky. It is a vertical dance, a constant upward yearning, driven by the golden touch of the sun. But the sun does more than just move the air. It is the master of the water cycle. It reaches down into the oceans, into the lakes, even into the moisture on a single leaf, and it coaxes the water to transform. Through evaporation, the sun turns heavy water into light, floating vapor. It gives the water wings. Every cloud you have ever seen is a testament to the sun's power to lift the heavy things of the world and make them ethereal. At this hour, as the sun has set for you, that process is still happening elsewhere. Somewhere, a vast ocean is breathing up its moisture, fueled by the golden fire, preparing the rain for a different tomorrow. Think about the sheer scale of this energy. Every hour, the sun sends more energy to the earth than the entire human race uses in a year. Yet, it arrives so gently. It doesn't scream, it shines. It doesn't push, it warms. It is a power that works through subtlety. In the same way, let your thoughts be warmed by this realization. You don't need to force your way into sleep. You only need to let the energy of the day dissipate. Like the earth cooling after sunset, let your mind release its heat. Let the busy, warm thoughts rise up and drift away into the cool night air. You are cooling down. You are finding your own equilibrium. The puppeteer has put away the strings for the night in your part of the world. The sun is now warming other lands, other oceans. It has left you with the moon and the stars as a reminder of its light. The atmosphere, however, remembers. It keeps the heat trapped in its thick, protective layers, what we call the greenhouse effect. It is a cozy, cosmic blanket that keeps us from freezing in the dark. Feel that cosmic blanket around you now. It is the same warmth that has protected life for billions of years. You are part of a very old, very safe system. As we move into the next chapter, we will see what happens when that rising warm air meets the cold of the heights. we will witness the birth of the winds. But for now, just feel the gratitude for the distant star. It has done its work for you today. It has stirred the air and lifted the water. And now, it allows you to rest in the warmth it left behind. The master of the ballet is silent. The stage is warm. And the night is yours. Breathe in the golden memory of the light. Breathe out the cooling stillness of the shadows. The sun is far. The warmth is near. The sky is calm. And you are drifting into a sun-warmed sleep. The warmth left behind by the sun is not a static thing. It is alive with potential. In the document we are exploring, we find that the atmosphere is a restless spirit, always seeking to balance the scales of heat and cold. This brings us to the heart of the weather's motion, convection. Imagine the air above a sun-warmed field or a dark, heat-absorbing forest. As those air molecules drink in the energy, they begin a tiny, invisible dance. They move faster. They push away from one another, they become light and buoyant. Like a hot air balloon without the silk, this warm air begins to rise. It is a silent, upward tide, a pulse of energy moving from the solid earth into the fluid sky. Convection is the breath of the atmosphere. As this warm air rises, it creates a space behind it, a pocket of lower pressure. Nature, in its infinite wisdom, abhors a vacuum. And so, from somewhere nearby, where the air is cooler and denser, a movement begins. The cooler air rushes in to fill the gap. This horizontal journey, this simple act of one air mass moving to take the place of another, is what we call wind. Think about that the next time you feel a gentle breeze against your cheek. You are feeling the atmosphere's attempt to fix an imbalance. You are feeling a conversation between the warm and the cold. The wind is the messenger of equilibrium. Visualize these rising pillars of air as thermals. Birds like eagles and hawks understand this science instinctively. They find these invisible elevators and spread their wings, letting the sun's rising energy lift them higher and higher without a single flap. Imagine yourself as one of those birds, weightless, supported entirely by the rising pulse of the earth. There is no effort required. You are simply being carried by the natural laws of physics. In the same way, let your mind be carried by the rhythm of this story. You do not need to try to relax. The convection of your own breath is enough to lift you away from the day. Our study explains that this process happens on every scale, from a tiny breeze in a garden to the great Hadley cells that span the entire globe. At the equator, the rising air is so powerful that it creates a permanent belt of low pressure, a place of constant rain and lush forests. That air then travels high into the atmosphere, cools down, and sinks back to the earth in the deserts, thousands of miles away. It is a massive, looping conveyor belt of energy. Even as you lie still, the entire planet is breathing in these giant circles. The earth is a living lungs, and wind is its steady, rhythmic circulation. As the wind moves across the surface, it encounters obstacles. It flows over mountain ranges like water over a stone in a stream. It whispers through the leaves of a forest, creating that soft, rushing sound we call Cytherism. Scientists tell us that wind carries more than just air. It carries seeds, it carries scents, and it carries the very moisture that will become the next cloud. Without the pulse of convection, the world would be stagnant. The heat would build up until it was unbearable, and the cold would deepen until it was absolute. Wind is the great mixer, the architect of variety. Think about the high and low pressure systems you hear about in weather reports. A high-pressure system is like a gentle, heavy hand pressing down, bringing clear skies and stable air. A low-pressure system is where the air is rising, swirling, inviting the clouds to form. Right now, visualize your bed as a zone of perfect, stable high pressure. Everything is settled. Everything is grounded. The frantic, low pressure of your busy thoughts is being replaced by a heavy, calm density. The air in your room is still, and in that stillness, there is a profound safety. The document reminds us that the atmosphere is a heat engine. It takes the fire of the sun and converts it into the kinetic energy of the wind. It is a masterpiece of efficiency. As you drift closer to sleep, realize that your body is also an engine that is now shifting into a lower gear. Your heart rate is slowing, your internal winds are calming. The thermal of your consciousness is gently descending back to the earth. You are no longer soaring, you are settling into the soft grass of the night. In the next chapter, we will see how the rotation of the earth itself gives the wind a beautiful, curving shape. We will learn about the mystery of the spin. But for now, just listen to the imaginary wind. Hear it moving through the high branches of the world. Far above your head. It is doing the work so you don't have to. It is balancing the planet. It is moving the heat. It is keeping the world alive. The pulse is steady. The wind is soft. And you are safe. Breathe in the rising warmth. Breathe out the rushing breeze. The air is moving. The earth is turning. The sky is balanced. And you are drifting into the cool, quiet heart of the wind. As the wind begins its journey, driven by the pulse of convection we explored, it encounters a force so vast and so subtle that we often forget it exists. The document we are studying reveals that the air does not move in straight lines from hot to cold. Instead, it curves. It swerves. It dances in great, sweeping arcs across the face of the planet. This is the Coriolis effect. It is a consequence of the simple, profound fact that beneath the atmosphere, the earth is spinning. At this very moment, as you lie perfectly still, you are traveling at hundreds of miles per hour through space. But because the earth is a sphere, different parts of it are moving at different speeds. This is the secret of the great spin, and it is what gives the weather its beautiful, swirling geometry. The earth is turning beneath the wind. Visualize a great carousel spinning in the middle of a dark park. If you stood at the center and tried to throw a ball to someone on the edge, the ball would appear to curve away from them. Not because the ball itself turned, but because the world beneath it moved. This is exactly what happens to our atmosphere. As warm air rushes from the equator toward the poles, it is stepping from a fast-moving part of the world to a slower one. The result is a graceful deflection. In the northern hemisphere, the wind is nudged to the right. In the southern hemisphere, it is pulled to the left. The Coriolis effect is the invisible hand that twists the straight lines of physics into the circles of nature. It is why hurricanes spin in magnificent spirals, and why the great jet streams meander like silver rivers high above our heads. Think about the sheer elegance of this motion. Without this spin, the weather would be a simple, back-and-forth tug of war. But with the Coriolis force, the atmosphere becomes a masterpiece of complexity. It creates the trade winds that guided ancient explorers across vast oceans. It creates the westerlies that carry storms across continents. Every time you look at a satellite map and see those beautiful, swirling cloud patterns, you are looking at the signature of the Earth's rotation. You are seeing the planet's breath being shaped by its own motion. The sky is a mirror of the Earth's spin. As you drift, feel that same rotation in your own consciousness. You are part of this massive, rotating miracle, anchored safely to the surface while the sky swirls in a grand, protective embrace above you. Our study reminds us that this effect is strongest at the poles and weakest at the equator. It is a delicate gradient of force. And just as the Earth's spin shapes the wind, your own inner rhythm is shaping your thoughts right now. The frantic, straight lines of the day's tasks are beginning to curve. They are losing their sharp edges. They are becoming part of a slower, more circular flow. You are no longer trying to get anywhere. You are simply rotating with the night. The Coriolis force of your own fatigue is gently nudging you away from the right and left of logic and toward the deep, swirling center of rest. There is no straight path to sleep, only a gentle, spiraling descent. Imagine the great jet streams, those narrow ribbons of incredibly fast-moving air high in the upper troposphere. They are the children of the Coriolis force. They act as the boundary lines for the world's weather, separating the cold air of the north from the warmth of the south. They flow at hundreds of miles per hour, yet they are silent to our ears. Visualize yourself floating inside one of these silver ribbons. You are being carried across oceans and mountain ranges, moving with effortless speed through the thin, cold air. You don't have to navigate. You don't have to steer. The great spin is doing all the work for you. You are a passenger of the planet. The document explains that this spin is what prevents the atmosphere from simply collapsing. It keeps the air in motion, ensuring that the heat is distributed and the moisture is shared. It is a system of perfect, dynamic balance. Right now, feel that balance in your limbs. The heavy weight of your legs, the soft release in your shoulders, the stillness of your hands. You are perfectly centered in the middle of a moving world. The planet is turning, the winds are curving, the stars are shifting, but you are the still point at the center of the spin. You are the axis of your own peace. As we move toward the next chapter, we will dive into the most mysterious ingredient of the sky, water vapor. We will see how the invisible becomes visible. But for now, stay with the feeling of the spin. Feel the earth rotating beneath your pillow. It is a constant, rhythmic motion that has never stopped for billions of years. It is the most reliable cradle in the universe. The wind is curving, the clouds are swirling, and the night is folding its wings around you. The dance is ancient. The spin is steady. And the world is in harmony. Breathe in, the motion of the world. Breathe out, the stillness of the center. The earth is turning. The wind is curving. The sky is a spiral. And you are drifting, drifting, into the soft, swirling heart of the great spin. The invisible ocean we are traveling through is filled with a ghost, a silent partner that dictates the fate of every cloud and every storm. In the document we are exploring, we discover that the most powerful player in the weather's ballet is not the wind or the pressure, but water vapor. It is the sky's secret ingredient. At this very moment, in the air of your room, there are trillions of water molecules floating around you, but they are invisible. They have been touched by the sun and turned into a gas, a state of pure potential. They are weightless, restless, and waiting. This is what we call humidity. It is the measure of the air's hidden moisture, the invisible weight that the atmosphere carries in its transparent arms. The sky is a vast, floating reservoir. Visualize these water molecules as tiny, energetic dancers. When the air is warm, it is like a grand, spacious ballroom. The dancers have plenty of room to move, to spin, and to stay apart. Warm air can hold a vast amount of invisible water. But as the air cools, the ballroom begins to shrink. The molecules are forced closer together. They begin to slow down. And eventually, they reach a point where they can no longer remain invisible. This is the dew point. It is the magical threshold where the gas remembers it is a liquid. It is the moment that ghost becomes flesh. The invisible becomes visible. As you drift towards sleep, imagine your own thoughts doing the same. The frantic, transparent energy of the day is cooling down, condensing, becoming something softer, heavier, and more peaceful. Our study explains that when water changes from a gas back into a liquid, it performs a miracle of physics. It releases energy. This is called latent heat. It is a hidden fire that water carries within itself. When a cloud forms, it is actually releasing the sun's warmth back into the atmosphere. This is why the air often feels still and heavy before a rain. It is the atmosphere absorbing the hidden heat of the vapor. Think about that as you settle into your pillow. You are releasing the energy of your day. You are letting the latent heat of your worries evaporate, allowing your mind to cool and condense into the quiet mist of dreams. You are undergoing your own beautiful phase change. The document tells us about relative humidity, that percentage we hear in the morning news. It is a ratio, a balance between what the air is holding and what it could hold. When it reaches 100%, the air is saturated. It can hold no more. The cup is full. At this point, the sky has no choice but to create. It creates fog that hugs the ground like a cold velvet cloak. Or it creates the tiny droplets that cluster together to form the belly of a cloud. Imagine a world draped in fog. Everything is muffled. Everything is soft. The edges of the trees, the lines of the road, the noise of the world, all dissolved into a gentle, white silence. Saturation is the atmosphere's way of saying, enough. Let your mind reach its own point of saturation. You have seen enough, thought enough, and done enough for one day. Your cup is full. It is time to let the mist descend. Think about the sheer journey of a single water molecule. It may have started in the deep blue of the Pacific Ocean, been lifted by the sun, carried across the Andes by the trade winds, and now, it might be the very molecule that is cooling against your windowpane. Water is the great traveler of the world. It links the highest mountain peak to the deepest root of a forest. And the atmosphere is the highway it travels on. By understanding humidity, we understand the connectivity of the earth. Nothing is isolated. The breath you exhale is adding to the moisture of the room, contributing to the cycle that will one day become a snowflake or a summer rain. You are a participant in the global flow. In the quiet of the night, humidity becomes a comfort. It softens the air. It makes the world feel tucked in. In the next chapter, we will see what happens when these billions of newly visible droplets find a home to cling to. We will witness the architecture of the clouds. But for now, just feel the softness of the air around you. It is not empty. It is full of life-giving moisture, a transparent blanket that keeps the world from drying out. The secret ingredient is all around you, silent, nourishing, and calm. The dew point is near. The ballroom is quiet. The dancers are slowing down. The invisible is settling into the visible. The day is turning into dew. And you are turning into a dream. The air is heavy with peace. The vapor is still. And the world is soft. Breathe in the cool, moist air. Breathe out the dry energy of the day. The sky is full. The clouds are waiting. The mist is rising. And you are drifting into the damp, quiet heart of the night. The moisture has reached its limit. The air is saturated. The secret ingredient is ready to reveal itself. But in the document we are exploring, we find that water vapor cannot simply turn into a cloud on its own. It needs a home. It needs a tiny, microscopic anchor to cling to. These are what scientists call cloud condensation nuclei. They are invisible specks of dust, sea salt from a distant ocean, or even smoke from a faraway fire. Without these tiny architects, there would be no clouds. Think of these particles as the silent invitations for the water to stay. One by one, trillions of water molecules find these anchors and embrace them. They transform from ghost-like vapor into tiny, liquid jewels. And together, in their billions, they create the most beautiful art in the atmosphere. A cloud is a gathering of tiny miracles. As you lie in the stillness of your room, visualize the sky as a grand gallery. There are different types of clouds, each with its own personality, its own height, and its own way of interacting with the light. First, there are the cirrus clouds. These are the high-altitude wanderers, floating 5 miles above the earth where the air is freezing. Because it is so cold, they are not made of water droplets, but of delicate ice crystals. They look like wisps of pulled silk, or mare's tails, brushed across the indigo sky. They are thin, transparent, and weightless. Imagine your own thoughts becoming like cirrus clouds. Thin, icy, and far away. They are not heavy enough to rain. They are just passing through the high, quiet reaches of your mind. They are the ghosts of memories, drifting in the silence. Further down, in the warm heart of the troposphere, we find the cumulus clouds. These are the clouds of childhood. They look like giant, fluffy piles of cotton wool with flat bases and towering tops. They are the visual evidence of the convection we spoke of earlier. Every puff of a cumulus cloud is the top of a rising column of warm air. They are the fair-weather clouds, drifting lazily across the horizon on a summer afternoon. Imagine you are reclining on one of these clouds. It is soft, it is supportive, it is perfectly buoyant. It carries you across the landscape of your dreams, moving with the slow, rhythmic pulse of the wind. You are weightless. You are part of the sky's architecture. But the atmosphere also has its heavy moments. When the air is very stable and moist, it creates stratus clouds. These are the vast, gray blankets that cover the sky from horizon to horizon. They are the clouds of quiet, rainy days and misty mornings. They bring a sense of enclosure. A sense of being tucked in. Scientists call them stratiform, meaning they grow in layers. Right now, visualize a layer of stratus clouds descending over your world. It muffles the sounds of the night. It keeps the warmth of the earth close to the ground. It is a global ceiling that makes the world feel small and safe. You are under a protective layer of velvet gray. The most dramatic of all are the cumulonimbus, the kings of the sky. These are the storm clouds that can reach up to the very edge of space. They have an anvil shape at the top, flattened by the high winds of the stratosphere. Inside these giants, there is a fierce energy, a constant churning of ice and water. But even in their power, there is a divine geometry. They are the atmosphere's way of cleaning itself, of redistributing energy on a massive scale. As you drift closer to sleep, know that even the storms of your life have a structure. They have a beginning, a peak, and an inevitable end. They are just another part of the ballet. Every storm eventually runs out of rain. Think about the weight of a single cloud. A medium-sized cumulus cloud can weigh over 1 million pounds. Yet, it floats. It floats because its density is lower than the air around it. This is a profound lesson for the night. You can carry weight without being heavy. You can have 1 million pounds of responsibilities and memories, and still float in the sea of your own consciousness. You do not need to sink. You only need to find the right environment to be buoyant. Let your thoughts float. Let the density of the day dissipate. The architects have finished their work for today. The sky is filled with the silent structures of the vapor. Some are high and icy, some are low and soft. Some are vast and sheltering. They are all made of the same water, just in different states of being. Just like your dreams. In the next chapter, we will see what happens when these clouds decide to give their gifts back to the earth. We will witness the electric exhale of the storm. But for now, just watch the clouds in your mind's eye. Watch them shift, watch them reshape, watch them disappear into the dark. The gallery is closing. The lights are fading. The anchors are holding. The invisible has found its form. And you have found your peace. The sky is artistic. The clouds are soft. And the night is vast. Breathe in the height of the clouds. Breathe out the weight of the earth. The sky is building. The vapor is settling. The dream is forming. And you are drifting into the soft, white heart of the clouds. The atmosphere has been building, the convection has been rising, and the clouds have reached their towering, anvil-shaped maturity. Now, the sky is ready to release its stored tension. In the document we are exploring, we enter the powerful world of the thunderstorm. While these events can be loud and dramatic, they are actually the atmosphere's most efficient way of restoring balance. Think of a storm not as a chaotic accident, but as an electric exhale. It is a profound moment of discharge. As you lie in the safety of your bed, listen to the imaginary rumble in the distance. It is the sound of the sky settling its depths. The storm is the atmosphere's deep breath out. To understand lightning, we must look inside the heart of a cumulonimbus cloud. It is a world of violent beauty. Near the top, it is freezing cold, filled with tiny ice crystals, while near the bottom, it is warmer and filled with water droplets. As the wind churns these particles together, something magical happens: static electricity. The ice crystals and water drops rub against each other, stripping away electrons. The top of the cloud becomes positively charged, while the base becomes heavily negative. This creates a massive electrical tension between the sky and the ground. It is like a rubber band being stretched further and further, waiting for the snap. Lightning is the bridge that resolves the tension. Imagine your own tension, the mental static of the day, being gathered into one place, ready to be safely grounded. When the tension becomes too great, the air, which is normally an insulator, breaks down. A liter of electricity steps down from the cloud in jagged, invisible increments, and then, in a billionth of a second, the circuit is completed. The return stroke, the part we see, leaps upward. It is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. This intense heat causes the air around the bolt to expand so violently and so quickly that it creates a sonic boom. This is thunder. But notice the sequence: first the light, then the sound. This is a reminder of the vast distances of the sky. Light travels almost instantly, while sound takes its time, rumbling through the heavy air. As you wait for sleep, let the light of your insights come first. And let the thunder of your thoughts follow slowly, fading into a distant, harmless hum. Our study explains that lightning is not just a display, it is a vital chemical process. The immense heat of a lightning bolt breaks apart nitrogen molecules in the air, turning them into a form that plants can actually use. This is called nitrogen fixation. Every time a storm strikes, it is literally fertilizing the earth. It is a violent act that results in life-giving growth. Think about that in your own life. Sometimes, a stormy period or a sudden release of energy is exactly what you need to fertilize your future. The storm clears the air, it washes the dust from the leaves, and it leaves the world smelling of petrichor, that earthy, fresh scent of rain on dry ground. Every lightning bolt is a gift to the soil. Visualize the rain that follows the thunder. It is a heavy, rhythmic downpour. It washes over your roof, creating a steady, hypnotic white noise. This is the ultimate sleep track of nature. Each drop is carrying away a bit of the atmosphere's heat and dust. The sky is literally shedding its burdens. As the rain falls, feel your own burdens being washed away. They are flowing off the edges of your mind, down into the earth, where they can be recycled and forgotten. You are becoming clean. You are becoming light. The electric intensity of your day is being grounded through your pillow and into the stillness. You are no longer a conductor of stress. Scientists tell us that at any given moment, there are nearly 2,000 thunderstorms happening around the world. It is a continuous global circuit. The Earth is always pulsing with this energy. But even the most powerful storm has a life cycle. It has a developing stage, a mature stage, and finally, a dissipating stage. The updrafts that fed the storm eventually give way to downdrafts. The rain cools the air, and the energy source is cut off. The storm simply runs out of breath. It turns back into a gentle, gray stratus cloud, and then, eventually, into clear, blue silence. The storm always ends in peace. Think of the ozone that lingers in the air after a storm. It is a sharp, clean smell, a sign of a new beginning. The atmosphere has balanced its charges. The pressure has dropped. The heat has been released. The sky is now cooler, calmer, and more transparent. This is the state you are entering now. The electric exhale of your day is complete. You have let out the long, jagged breath of your worries. And now, you are ready to inhale the cool, fresh air of the night. In the next chapter, we will look at the more organized, swirling power of the winds, the tornadoes and hurricanes. We will see how the spin we talked about becomes a masterpiece of force. But for now, just listen to the fading thunder. It is getting further and further away. The rain is slowing to a gentle drip. The sky is dark and satisfied. The circuit is closed. The tension is gone. The earth is wet and fertile. And you are the silence that follows the storm. The sky is calm. The energy is grounded. And the night is fresh. Breathe in the scent of the rain. Breathe out the last of the static. The flash has passed. The rumble has faded. The peace has returned. And you are drifting into the cool, dark heart of the aftermath. The energy of the atmosphere has been released in flashes of light, but sometimes, the air doesn't just want to rise or fall, it wants to spin. In the document we are exploring, we find ourselves in the heart of the world's most powerful storms, tornadoes and hurricanes. These are the tempests of the sky, but from the perspective of the universe, they are masterpieces of organization. They are the ultimate expression of the great spin we talked about. As you lie in the absolute stillness of your room, imagine the contrast. Outside, in the far reaches of the globe, the air is performing a frantic, powerful dance, while here, you are the calm, unmoving center of the world. You are the eye of the storm. A tornado is a small but incredibly intense spiral. It begins with a supercell thunderstorm, where the wind at different heights moves at different speeds. This creates an invisible, horizontal tube of spinning air. like a rolling log in the sky. Then, an updraft from the storm tips this log over, making it vertical. If the conditions are right, this spinning column tightens and stretches toward the earth. Think of a figure skater pulling their arms in to spin faster and faster. This is the conservation of angular momentum. It is a law of physics that brings order to the chaos. The tornado is a brief, concentrated burst of the atmosphere's power. A fleeting visitor that eventually tires itself out and retreats back into the clouds. The spiral is nature's way of focusing its energy. On a much larger scale, we have the hurricane, the giant of the oceans. These storms are hundreds of miles wide and can last for weeks. They are heat engines on a global scale. They start over warm tropical waters, drinking in the massive energy of the sun-warmed sea. As the warm, moist air rises, it begins to spin because of the Coriolis force. This creates a vast, swirling galaxy of clouds. But at the very center of this massive power, there is a miracle, the eye. In the eye of a hurricane, the winds are calm. The sky is often clear. The pressure is at its lowest. It is a sanctuary of peace surrounded by a wall of energy. Even the most powerful storm has a place of rest at its heart. Our study explains that these storms are the planet's way of moving heat from the tropics to the poles. They are like the cooling system of a great machine. Without them, the equator would become too hot and the poles too cold. They are necessary for the world's balance. As you drift closer to sleep, realize that your own tempests, the big, swirling emotions or the overwhelming days, also serve a purpose. They are moving energy. They are clearing out the old to make room for the new. And just like the hurricane, you can find your own eye. You can be aware of the movement around you without being swept up by it. You are the silent observer at the center. Visualize the spiral shape of these storms. It is the same shape as a seashell, the same shape as a fingerprint, the same shape as a galaxy. It is the signature of a living universe. When you see a hurricane from a satellite, it looks like a slow, graceful whirlpool of white silk. It doesn't look violent, it looks harmonious. This is the perspective of the sleepy scientist. When we step back and look at the big picture, the chaos disappears and only the geometry remains. Your life, when viewed from a distance, is also a beautiful, harmonious spiral. Everything is moving in circles, and every circle leads back to peace. The document reminds us that these storms eventually hit land or move over cold water. Without their fuel, the warm moisture of the ocean, they begin to weaken. The friction of the land slows them down. The spinning becomes a drift. The wind becomes a breeze. The heavy rain turns into a gentle mist. Every tempest, no matter how large, is temporary. It is a phase. It is a breath that the earth takes and then releases. Feel your own breath echoing this. A deep inhale of energy, and a long, slow exhale of release. The storm is winding down. Think about the silence after a great wind has passed. The air feels lighter. The world feels reset. This is the state we are approaching. We have traveled through the invisible ocean, seen the sun's fire, felt the wind's curve, and witnessed the electric exhale. Now, the swirling has stopped. The tempests of your thoughts are losing their momentum. They are widening out, slowing down, becoming as still as a lake at midnight. The energy has been spent. The balance has been found. In the next chapter, we will return to the atmosphere's gallery to see the light games and rainbows that follow the storm. But for now, just rest in the eye. Stay in the calm center. Let the world spin without you. You have done enough. You have moved enough. It is time to be still. The spiral is widening. The friction of the night is slowing the spin. The eye is growing larger and larger until it encompasses everything. The sky is majestic. The force is spent. And the night is silent. Breathe in the calm of the center. Breathe out the fading wind. The clouds are thinning. The spin is slowing. The center is holding. And you are drifting, drifting, into the wide, quiet eye of the night. As the moisture in the air begins to settle and the clouds shift into their final forms for the night, the atmosphere reveals its most delicate talent, its ability to play with light. In the document we are exploring, we find that the air is not just a medium for wind and rain, but a vast, global lens. It is a gallery of optical wonders. Think of the sunlight we discussed earlier, 93 million miles of travel, only to be intercepted by the tiny jewels of the sky. Whether it is a single raindrop or a microscopic ice crystal, the atmosphere knows how to bend, bounce, and break light into a spectrum of peace. The sky is the world's greatest artist. The most famous of these masterpieces is, of course, the rainbow. But science tells us it is more than just a colorful arc, it is a perfect marriage of geometry and moisture. To see a rainbow, you must have the sun behind you and the rain before you. Each individual raindrop acts as a tiny prism. As the light enters the drop, it slows down and bends, a process called refraction. It then reflects off the back of the drop and bends again as it exits. Trillions of drops doing this simultaneously create the arc we see. Visualize this happening now in the quiet of your mind. The light of your consciousness hitting the gentle rain of your thoughts, breaking them down into their basic, beautiful colors. Until all that remains is a soft, glowing bridge between the day and the night. You are the observer and the light. But the gallery does not close when the sun goes down or when the air freezes. High in the troposphere, where the cirrus clouds float, we find the halos. These are the ghostly, luminous rings that sometimes circle the moon or the sun. They are created not by liquid water, but by hexagonal ice crystals. As the light passes through these tiny six-sided gems, it is deflected at a precise angle, usually 22 degrees. This creates a 22-degree halo, a cosmic circle of light that seems to protect the moon like a celestial crown. Imagine looking up and seeing this silver ring in the midnight sky. It is a reminder that even in the freezing cold, even in the darkness, there is structure, there is symmetry, and there is light. The cold has its own radiance. Our study also mentions crepuscular rays, often called God rays or Jacob's ladder. These are the pillars of light that stream through gaps in the clouds, fanning out across the horizon. Though they look like they are spreading out, they are actually parallel lines of light. It is only perspective, the same way a long road seems to narrow in the distance, that makes them look like a fan. They are the atmosphere's way of highlighting the beauty of the earth. Visualize yourself standing in one of these pillars of light. It feels warm, it feels significant, it feels like a path. But as you drift towards sleep, let the path lead you inward. Follow the rays of your own breath down into the quiet valley of your soul. There are even rarer sights in this gallery, the green flash that occurs for a split second as the sun disappears below the ocean. Or the aurora borealis, where the atmosphere's highest layers collide with solar winds to create dancing curtains of green and violet. These phenomena remind us that the atmosphere is constantly reacting, constantly vibrating, constantly alive. It is never just a blank sky. It is a canvas that is being repainted every second of every day. Your mind is the same. Every dream is a new painting, every restful thought is a new color. You are a gallery of infinite possibilities. As you lie still, think about the clarity of the air. Sometimes, after a rain, the atmosphere is so clean that the stars look like they are close enough to touch. This is because the dust and the haze have been washed away, leaving the lens of the sky perfectly clear. Let your mind undergo this same cleansing. Let the weather of the day wash away the clutter. Let the optics of your spirit become clear. You are not looking through a fog anymore. You are looking through the pure, transparent stillness of the night. The view is beautiful. The light is soft. The gallery is quiet. In the next and final chapter, we will reach the final equilibrium. We will see how all these forces, the sun, the wind, the spin, and the light, come together to create the perfect silence of sleep. But for now, just admire the colors. See the soft violets and deep indigos of the evening. Feel the silver ring of the moon's halo protecting your dreams. The atmosphere has finished its show. The colors are fading into the velvet black of the universe. The prisms are still. The crystals are floating. The light has been tucked away. And you are becoming part of the masterpiece. The sky is elegant. The light is resting. And the night is a work of art. Breathe in the spectrum of the stars. Breathe out the shadows of the earth. The arc is complete. The halo is bright. The gallery is yours. And you are drifting into the soft, luminous heart of the sky. As we reach the final movement of our atmospheric ballet, we return to the stillness where we began. In the document we explored, we saw that weather is a constant, restless search for balance. But as the sun remains hidden on your side of the world, and the land cools, the atmosphere enters a period of quiet reflection. This is the final equilibrium. The winds that were driven by the sun's fire have softened into a whisper. The clouds that were built by the day's heat have settled into a calm, protective blanket. The electric energy of the storms has been grounded back into the earth. Everything is returning to its simplest, most peaceful state. The ballet is coming to a close. Think of the atmosphere now as a parent tucking in a child. The air pressure is stable. The humidity is just a soft touch of moisture on the leaves. The temperature is a cool, steady embrace. There is no more conflict between the warm and the cold. There is only the long, slow exhale of the planet. Scientists tell us that the sky never truly sleeps, but it does rest. It shifts its focus from the chaos of the day to the repair of the night. In the same way, let your body shift its focus. You are no longer navigating the weather of your life, the tasks, the conversations, the worries. You are entering the stratosphere of your own mind. A place where the air is thin, clear, and perfectly still. Visualize the entire planet from space. You see the swirling patterns we talked about, the Coriolis curves, the cloud spirals, the silver ribbons of the jet streams. From that height, even the most powerful storm looks like a delicate, artistic brushstroke. All the movement is part of a grand, harmonious design. Your life is no different. The storms you face today, the winds that pushed you, and the heat of your efforts are all just part of your own beautiful, evolving climate. Looking down from the silence of the stars, it all looks perfect. It all looks balanced. You are exactly where you need to be. Our study ends with a reminder that the weather is a conversation between the earth, the ocean, and the sky. And you are a part of that conversation. As you breathe, you are exchanging molecules with the atmosphere. You are part of the water cycle, part of the nitrogen cycle, part of the great energy exchange of the sun. You are not an observer of the world, you are the world experiencing itself. This realization brings a profound sense of belonging. You do not need to fight the elements. You do not need to resist the night. You are simply a drop of water in the ocean, a molecule of air in the sky. You are home. Feel the weight of your body becoming one with the earth beneath you. Feel the air in your lungs becoming one with the sky above you. The boundaries are dissolving. The I that has been busy all day is evaporating, leaving behind only the quiet, steady pulse of existence. Just like the fog that dissolves when it has finished its work, your conscious thoughts are fading into a soft, white glow. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to understand. The science of the weather has led us back to the mystery of the silence. The master puppeteer has dimmed the lights. The architects of the clouds have laid down their tools. The electric exhale has turned into a peaceful sigh. The great spin continues, carrying you gently into tomorrow. But tomorrow is a long way off. For now, there is only the rhythm of your breath. There is only the softness of the dark. There is only the deep, restorative equilibrium of sleep. The invisible ocean is calm. The secret ingredient is still. The ballet is over. And you are the song that remains. The sky is resting. The earth is dreaming. And you are free. Breathe in the absolute peace. Breathe out into the infinite night. The atmosphere is a blanket. The universe is a cradle. The journey is complete. And you are drifting into the deep, silent song of the stardust.